He's Tony Robbins, so he's one of the most successful business owners of all time and just absolutely amazing at almost everything he does. Hey everyone, this is Daniel Rondberg. I hope you're having a wonderful week. In today's video, I'm going to be reacting to a video that somebody sent me with Tony Robbins talking about index annuities. Now, I've seen a small clip from this video before, but I haven't seen the whole thing. So today we're going to dive in and check out this video with Tony Robbins. Let's get started.
You've got to create an income for life. And then when I say income for life, it's so interesting because I ask people all the time, why do you invest? What are you investing for? What would your response be?
So I'll have money when I'm old.
Right?
Yeah.
So some people say, so I have money when old. Some people say, so I can grow my assets. Some people say, so they tell me all kinds of things. There's only one reason to invest: income.
So he brings up a great point there. Like, really, if you think about it, our jobs with our time here on earth is to create income and to create enough so that one day we can have that income support us when we retire. So Tony points that out, and I think that's pretty interesting. Let's see where he's going with this.
You can have all these companies, but eventually you have to convert that to income to be able to live a great life. The final purpose of all investing is income. And most of us don't know that anymore because all of the marketing machines of the large banks, if you were taking income, it's no longer in their account.
So it's bad.
So it takes it away from them. Most people know the power of life insurance, right? Don't like it, but I want to make sure something happens to me, my family's taken care of.
I always think it's interesting that when people talk about life insurance, they always talk about it in the basic sense of protection. Life insurance is a lot, but Tony talks about, he starts off by talking about life insurance and how it can protect people if people don't like it. I don't know. It's kind of maybe a generalization. Some people maybe like it, some people don't like it. It does other things, but let's see if he's going to expand on life insurance or if he's going to pivot and talk about annuities now.
Well, what if you live? And here's what's crazy. The number one fear amongst baby boomers is not death. Death is a far number two, way down the list, number two percentage-wise. Number one is running out of money before they die.
That's absolutely true. Survey after survey every year talks about what are people most concerned about, and it is running out of money.
Having a life where they don't have income.
Just to touch on that, AARP does a survey every year, and that's where he's probably getting that data from. But there's a lot of different surveys. Vanguard does some, T. Rowe Price does them, Schwab does them. They all talk about what are the fears, and they poll people to get their genuine opinion on how they feel about risk and what they're concerned about. Running out of money is almost always at the top of the list.
And it's going to happen, according to all the statistics, to about 75% of the population. Right? It's mind-boggling. So what do I do without any income? That's why you see people now in their 70s as greeters at Walmart.
Okay, so that's interesting. He said that there's statistics out there that show that 75% of people are going to run out of money. I don't know where that came from. I've never heard that, but maybe I need clarity on that. Maybe that's not what he was saying in that clip. I thought that's what he was alluding to, but I don't know. Let's see if there's a source.
So there is income insurance. Income insurance is the word annuity that we all have heard. The word annuity is annual payments. Now you get annuities that pay you every month. That process that's out there is one of the most successful opportunities for people to create an income. In other words, there's a stage in my life where you build, like you are. You're grow, and you're going up the mountain. You're saving, you're investing, and you're building it to a giant critical mass, to a jackpot. When you get to the top of the mountain, there's going to be a stage when you're not going to want to work.
So I like that too. Like, this is something I talk about all the time, is like retiring to your purpose or retiring to something or retiring to that next phase of life where you do something greater and give or do things you'd do if you didn't have to work. I think this is great that he's touching on like retiring to a purpose, but he's building towards, he's kind of framing some things like the accumulation phase and the decumulation phase. So I want to hear his thoughts on the decumulation phase.
When you get to that peak where you have enough money, now you want to be able to ski down the mountain, enjoy your time with your family, do whatever you want to do, give your time, your energy, your capital, do whatever you want to do. That phase you need income for, and most people aren't planning for income. So you could be in a position where you built your assets up, your stock investments, your bonds, your real estate, and how fast can that drop by? Ray Dalio says, he said, whatever investment you invest in, he said, mark my words, in your lifetime, there will be a day, that category will go down 50 to 70%.
Wow, that's interesting. So he's saying even the things you know really well inside now that you feel comfortable with, Ray Dalio, one of the most successful investors of all time, says that there's a good chance that asset will go down by 50 or 70%. That's incredible. And he's also talking about how people don't have really a plan for income. I see that all the time. People are always really focused on that accumulation phase and they don't have a great transition for retirement where they're going to be taking income. So I think he did touch on that really well. He seems to have some pretty good insights here. He's Tony Robbins, so he's one of the most successful business owners of all time and just absolutely amazing at almost everything he does. I like his insights on retirement so far.
The only way you protect against that is asset allocation, spreading out amongst many different baskets, not one. And the other way is you create an insurance policy that says, I'm guaranteed a certain income for life. Annuity maybe is the most negative word. It's like, but here's what an annuity is.
Okay, so we touched on two things there. One, annuities have a stigma. That's true. There's a lot of people marketing against annuities right now because they're losing market share to them. So if you have, people that want to manage assets for a fee, you sometimes, not all of them, but some of them will put out bad press about annuities so that, they can try to capture some of that market share back to assets under management. He's also talking about how annuities are really just insurance in case you live too long, and that's really what they do.
Bernanke, as the head of the Fed, his top two investments were both annuities. Because I used to read these ads that say, they still market them. It says, what does it say? It says, I hate annuities and you should too. And of course you go to it and it's a guy that's selling you stocks, right?
Okay, so he's touching on that too, trying to get market share back with marketing. But he did say something interesting there about how Ben Bernanke, who's basically Mr. Bank, you know, he was the head of the Federal Reserve for years. His top 2 holdings were in 2 different annuities.
Annuities aren't a great product. Like mutual funds aren't a great product. The right annuity, the right investment is the right one. And that means you've got to be able to strip out all the crazy fees. I mean, for example, a variable annuity. It's fees on top of fees. It's fees to be inside of the annuity, and then there's fees for a mutual fund on top of it. It's a disaster. But there are types of annuities done properly. These hybrid annuities, they call them, where it's tied to an index, meaning a stock market index.
I like that he's breaking down the distinction because that happens all the time. People just use the word annuity as if they're all the same. There's spread products, fee products, no fee products, high fee products. It depends on what you're getting, right? Obviously, when you stack on fees, you're buying different benefits, so there can be value to those fees. I like that he's making a distinction between different types of annuities because they are not all the same, and there are some that don't have fees at all.
You get the upside without the downside. If the stock market goes up, you get a percentage of that growth. If it goes down, you lose nothing. But one of them gives a guaranteed return of 7% a year. But here's how they do it. You pay into the company, in this particular one, your rate grows at 7% a year, and then you have this lump sum. You don't take out the lump sum. That's how you get 7% per year. What you do is you take out 5% of it a year, and so they show you what that means to an income.
Okay, so that's interesting the way he's putting it, right? I don't think of that as like growth because it's not. It's a roll-up is what he's describing, which is a rider you buy. So it's like the way that Social Security grows. You know, like you're not actually growing your money at 7% a year. The base they're going to pay you out your income on is growing by a percentage, and then that's what the income is. So he kind of alluded to it right there. He didn't really come out and say it, but he basically said you can't take out the lump sum. It's not real growth. It's a payout factor that they're building off of what's called a benefit base. So they're growing that benefit base, which is not money you can take. It's money that they're going to use to calculate your income stream, and that's what he's explaining now in this index annuity with an income rider.
Because what you really want is income. If you're in the stock market, it drops 50%, your income is just cut in half, and then to grow it back can take decades. There's some that are tied to the stock market, and if it loses money, you lose nothing, and there are no fees if it doesn't make money. And then they have a second piece which says, if you leave your money with us and you don't take it out, if you leave it with us, you can convert that to income in the future, and we can show you how much that would be worth in the future at different stages.
Man, he's touching on a lot that I talk about with people all the time, and it's important. It's like, you can actually go to an index annuity company and get a projection that they will give you as a guarantee and say, okay, like the company will guarantee at a certain point you'll get this much cash flow from the annuity or income for the rest of your life. And so I think that he's touching on something really important here is like people want to know what they're going to get for income retirement. In fact, that's one of the most common things people ask me when they sit down with me is like, how do I know what I'm going to get for income? Well, you can go to these index annuity companies and you can get an income that they can project every single year for the rest of your life for you and your spouse. That's what he's touching on here. It's called an income rider. There's other ways you can get income without an income rider. You can annuitize, or you can take partial withdrawals. But he's talking about an income rider here.
If you knew today that you could put a certain amount of money aside, and instead of wondering how the stock market was going to go, you knew that meant for you $5,000 a month, $10,000 a month, $20,000 a month, whatever it is, for as long as you live, and that even if all the money you put in, you'd outstripped, you'd still be receiving the money. That's what you get in these types of income insurance plans. Today, people living 85 years, so at 65, they've got 20 years of retirement and they have no plan.
He's touching on some really important retirement issues right now that I think are just crucial. In fact, his actuarial data is pretty spot on. There's a lot of companies that put out actuarial data, and I think he's pretty much right in alignment with that. I'm not sure if he's accurate on the Great Depression era Social Security life expectancy he was talking about, where he's saying like you get at 65 and life expectancy was 62. I thought life expectancy back then was like 67, 68. I could be wrong about that, but either way, I don't want to nitpick. I think he's doing a really good job of touching on really, really big concepts in a short amount of time, and I'm actually really impressed how much he knows about annuities, considering he's Tony Robbins and he has knowledge on all kinds of other subjects in like every field. It's actually pretty impressive.
Years, most people don't have it. So these types of programs that I explain in here step by step, these programs can give you the income for life so you don't have to ever run out of money.
Okay, so overall, I really like that clip. I thought that was interesting. I thought he did a really good job of just talking about some of the really key issues that people have and really simplifying it. I mean, I agree with a lot of what he said, and I thought it was pretty accurate. I think he touched on a couple things that I would have articulated slightly differently, but overall, I thought it was a really good video, and I think that's cool. I'm definitely going to check out that book that he was talking about in the video, and I'd like to learn more about what he was saying. So overall, I thought it was a pretty good video. I thought he did a good job of talking about the issues, and I think he did a good job of breaking down really what annuities do and who they serve and why they have a stigma and why people should use them. And overall, it just comes down to what's really in your best interest and what will help you in your retirement the most. And sometimes annuities are what will help, and sometimes people don't need them. And so it really just comes down to everybody's individual circumstances, situation. So anyway, I hope you enjoyed this reaction video. If you liked it, please hit the thumbs up and maybe consider sharing it. Please subscribe to the channel. We come out with a weekly video about retirement every single week. As always, I'm Daniel Rondberg. Thanks for watching. I'll see you in the next one.